Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be looking at the antagonist. That's embarrassing. Before we start, I highly recommend you to watch my video, Top 3 Tips for Writing Protagonists, as the information is relevant for antagonists too, as they need to be as fleshed out as your main character. I'll just wait here while you check out that other video. Right. Firstly, the antagonist of your story must have goals and motivations which are in direct, or sometimes indirect, conflict with the main protagonist. So, what I find is really helpful to do is, in each scene or chapter or part of your narrative, try to think about the antagonist. What is his point of view? What is his perspective in this specific scene or chapter or part? Try to think about their goals, their motivations in this scene. Try to think, if they are not connected with this scene, try to think what are they doing at the same time. Again, like we looked at world building where you create a timeline, try to make a timeline of the character. What's happening on your protagonist's timeline and what's happening on your antagonist's timeline at the same time. As identifying this will allow you to better shape and identify the structure of your story, and also aid in the pacing of it too. So for example, if it will allow you to identify where conflicts should definitely happen, because in this specific scene the antagonist would definitely have a motivation or a desire that they really want to achieve. Will they send minions? Will they try to trick the protagonist? Will they show up themselves? Again, it will help you change the pacing and the story structure of your narrative. Secondly, to use a quote from Stephen King, tip 2, the antagonist thinks they are the hero of their own story. And what I mean by this is, stepping away from a morality viewpoint, the antagonist truly believes and has conviction in their beliefs and their motivations and their goals, and they can justify their actions. They truly believe what they're doing is good, or at least is beneficial to them, or is right to them. So by identifying these kind of traits and qualities of your antagonist in relation to your protagonist, will again allow you to show these shared traits that the antagonist will have with the common man. Maybe even qualities that your protagonist shares. Again, making them easier to relate to and engage with. And lastly, third tip, what I really like to do in my book, in my stories, is if I have an antagonist that is in conflict with the protagonist, I really like to try and think of a moment of connection between the protagonist and the antagonist, or just the antagonist and the reader. This point of contact usually is to show that something that the villain does, or something the villain believes in or holds just, could be something that the reader could also believe in or do under similar circumstances. And the added benefit of trying to think in this way is twofold. For example, you can have two things that could happen in this moment of connection. The protagonist could be empathetic and can also connect, which would reinforce their heroic position, would reinforce their morality, would reinforce them as the goody two-shoes, as the good guy. And also it will give the antagonist a chance to exploit this potential weakness, or even betray them or trick them into something, which will again reinforce them as an antagonist. And because I said it was twofold, there is a second benefit to this. The protagonist could disregard this moment of connection and could just be brutal and defeat the antagonist in this situation, or don't care about this moment of empathy, or care about the justice, or care about this specific moment. Again, this is great because it makes the hero, the protagonist, it makes them more relatable. They're human, they make mistakes too. Their morality is questionable. That makes them a more interesting character. And also, twofold again, it makes the antagonist more interesting because he's suffering at the hands of the protagonist. It kind of makes you feel for him a little bit. You empathize for the antagonist. You think of him as the underdog, and everyone likes rooting for an underdog. It just changes this dynamic. These are my top 3 tips when you're writing antagonists. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you liked this video. And please leave me comments below. I want to know who your favorite villains are, Or when you're writing, what kind of villains do you like to write? What kind of things do you like to explore in your villains, in your antagonists? And also subscribe so you don't miss any future content. A video should be released every Tuesday, and I'm also thinking of starting vlogging during the summer. My book Old Eyes is also available on Amazon worldwide. If you're interested in a horror / thriller / detective Lovecraftian kind of book, check it out. You can read the first 2 chapters on my website for free. Links down in the description below. Otherwise, I hope this video has been useful for you, has been helpful in some way, has enlightened you some way. If not, I have failed my job and I must go away. I don't know what voice that was. I am terribly sorry. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.